What's going on, guys? This is Wandergasm, and today I'm in London and we're going to be talking about why you should be shooting in RAW as opposed to JPEG. So, let's get into it. What's up, guys? So I'm sure most of you would have seen the last video where I talked about what is RAW. Now today we're going to be talking about why you should be shooting in RAW as opposed to shooting in JPEG. So, let's not waste time. Let's get into it. First up, RAW saves so much more color data and photo information. Way more. But what does that even mean? What that means is you have a lot more flexibility and freedom and range when it comes to editing your photo. If you've ever tried importing a JPEG into Lightroom or Photoshop and then trying to push the colors or saturation or maybe the exposure just a little bit past a certain point, you'll see it starts getting grainy and noisy and just looks plain disgusting. When you shoot in JPEG, the camera applies in-camera edits. So you're editing on top of previous edits and it just makes it into one big mess. Shooting in RAW, that doesn't happen. You've got a lot more space to edit and it's just beautiful, so do it. Number 2, you can re-edit a RAW image as many times as you want. If you're editing a RAW image in Lightroom or Photoshop, any edits you make aren't actually saved until you export that image from the program. So what that means is you can just click that reset button and put the image back to exactly how you wanted it to look at the start before you applied any edits. Which I mean is pretty useful because think about it, let's be honest, none of us really get the edit right the first time unless you're some sort of genius, in which case please hit me up and give me some tips because I'll use those. Thanks. Number 3, professionals use RAW. If you want to start being taken seriously as a photographer, it's probably best to start shooting all of your images in RAW now rather than later. If you're shooting, say, a portrait series for someone and you shoot all of the images in JPEG and then you get them into the editing suite and you're like, man, these photos are so nice, I just need to correct this. And you do it and it comes up all noisy and it looks crappy and then you send that to the client and they're like, yo, this dude is a big time noob. It's not gonna look good for you, is it? So, basically, it's best to start stashing up those RAW files now, even if you're not confident with your editing, because further down the line, when you do improve your editing, you can always go back, re-edit those images, and then put them out like you've only just taken them. So, pretty smart. Think about it. It makes sense. 4, you can easily fix badly exposed images. Now, I'm not saying if you shoot in a dark room, you can fix it and bring all of the details up by pushing exposure up. But if you're a couple of clicks of exposure down or a couple of notches of exposure up, you can easily bring that back into the middle and bring down the highlights and bring up the shadows and just fix the overall exposure, bringing out a whole lot more detail. Now, if you shot in JPEG, that might not be possible. You might have lost that entire shot altogether, which is pretty shit, so don't do that. But yeah, the higher amount of data saved in a RAW file, it allows you to increase or decrease exposure without a drastic reduction in quality, which is basically what you want. And finally, you have a much higher control over the final look of your image. You can apply way more editing, way more filters, all the visco filters you want. Think about it, 100 visco filters, how good would that look? Basically, again, it all comes back to the higher amount of data stored in a RAW file. This just lets you have so much more freedom with your editing. Try and edit a RAW file and then try and apply those same edits to a JPEG file and you'll see what I'm talking about. If you're someone who does heavily edit your photos, you're going to be wanting to shoot in RAW if you're not already. So that's it, guys. Basically, if you're not convinced about shooting in RAW already, then I don't think I can help you, I'm sorry. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you found this video useful and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace.